Hey, good evening. This is Chief Meteorologist Alex Kirchner, the 13 Weather Authority. We are keeping an eye on possibly some strong storms going into tomorrow morning. Want to make sure that you're weather aware and ready to go as those showers and thunderstorms rumble in early tomorrow. So here's how things are looking as of right now. We're keeping an eye on that potentially intense severe weather outbreak out west. The reason why, we will get in on the tail end of all of that. Thankfully, by the time those storms arrive for us, everything should be a lot weaker compared to what we're looking at right now across the Great Plains. So far, I've seen multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, multiple tornado warnings. Those at least have toned down a little, but they are still dealing with a pretty busy day overall, and that's going to continue into tonight. Now, what's going to happen is this weather system driving all that works its way into us as we head into early tomorrow. There won't be quite as much energy or instability in the atmosphere, so as a result, things aren't going to be as intense as where they sit right now. That said, there still could be a strong storm or two in our backyard right at about sunrise tomorrow. So you can see that we do have a 1 out of 5 risk for severe weather, basically stretching from Rochelle to Freeport and west for wind and hail during the morning hours. Then, depending on how much we can recharge in the afternoon, think of it like a battery kind of thing, where if we are able to get a lot of sunlight, a lot of heat building up in the atmosphere, we could recharge enough to see additional severe storms in the afternoon. But that is a big if we're able to get that going. So as we look at the overall severe weather threats, they're fairly low, but flooding rainfall, damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes would all be in play, especially into Tuesday afternoon and evening if we're able to get those storms going. So here is Future Track. You can see as we approach 5 in the morning, that line of thunderstorm activity is approaching us, and it does look a little on the strong end as it crosses the Mississippi River. Not quite as many potential severe storms, but still looking at a pretty intense line of activity at about 6:30 in the morning. Then here we are at about 9. You can see that that has weakened down dramatically. May still have a strong storm or two, so be ready for a lot of downpours, gusty winds, plenty of lightning, and then some showers behind that. And we'll still have to watch out for, do we get a severe thunderstorm or not in the mix? Again, 1 out of 5 level usually means 1 or 2 storms get up to severe strength. Kind of like what we saw as of Saturday afternoon and evening when we had plenty of downpours, some strong thunderstorms rumble through, but there was only just one that was producing anything somewhat severe. So that could be the scenario as we get into tomorrow morning. Afternoon hours, a bit more spotty. You can see right now Future Track indicating maybe there's a bit more of a chance to recharge closer to Chicago. So you can see those storms are a lot stronger while we stay pretty quiet. There is a potential where it's the opposite, though. We get more sun. We get those storms to bubble up during the afternoon to evening. Still can't rule out a stray storm going into the late evening hours, and then we should be dry from there. So plan on some morning rain and storms with downpours and gusty winds. That is looking like a likelihood as of this point, roughly between 6 to 10 a.m. There is that low chance we get a strong storm, potential severe storm or two to mix in, but for the most part, plan on a stormy morning and then some scattered rain and storms later in the day if we're able to recharge that battery, so to speak. So that is kind of the scenario that we see going throughout the course of the day tomorrow. Again, we're not going to get what the Great Plains are getting, where in some spots, Oklahoma and Kansas, they're up to a 5 out of 5. That is very rare to see, expecting plenty more in the way of severe weather and tornadoes in that end of the country later tonight. Right now, still looking at plenty of pretty strong, dangerous storms in that stretch of the country, and it's from that weather system that we have. Some activity working towards us as we get into tomorrow morning. Could end up seeing a strong storm or two, roughly around sunrise, and then later in the day, we've got some of that activity bubbling back up again. So that's kind of the rundown as we see it going into early tomorrow. If you have any questions or comments, again, we are live here on Facebook, so let us know if you are wondering anything. But that's kind of the basic rundown as we see it going throughout the course of tomorrow morning. So plan on storms. be ready for that isolated maybe 1, maybe 2 rounds of severe weather during the early morning hours, as in 1 or 2 storms specifically, not multiple rounds, I should say. So maybe a storm, maybe two storms get up to that severe strength, and then be ready for additional activity in the afternoon. So plenty of busy weather ahead for tomorrow. And then later in the week, we've got more chances for rain and storms. So we'll track that coming up tonight on 13 News at 10 as we get brand new information in from not only the National Weather Service, but Future Trek refreshes itself. We've got new model runs coming in. So we'll continue to track just how things could play out as we get into late tonight and early tomorrow. And of course, stay with meteorologist Claudia Olick throughout those morning hours as those storms rumble in. Have that 13 Weather Authority app handy, because that is a great way to get those severe weather alerts, or even just tracking the storms with the interactive radar on there. You're able to kind of see just how rainy your morning commute is going to be. So we will have all of this, plus, again, those brand new model runs coming in at 13 News at 10 tonight, a little over an hour. I want to thank you for joining us here, and we'll see you during the broadcast coming up in about an hour 15 or so. So thanks for joining us, and we'll have updates coming up a little later tonight.